You're listening to the AstroMommy Daily Horoscope, a forecast that hopes to shine a light in the dark, helping us all see where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Whether you're a first-time listener or a long-time subscriber, thanks for being here. I truly appreciate you being in the AstroMommy community. Without further ado, here is the Daily Horoscope. Mercury's Cazimi moment. How will you utilize this gift? Daily horoscope for Wednesday and Thursday, September 6th through the 7th, 2023. Good morning, friends. Well, just a friendly reminder, if you missed the announcements in Monday's newsletter, the read-aloud version of the newsletter will only be available on the podcast going forward. And today, I was going to post the tarot reading as a separate newsletter so that you would be able to opt in or opt out of everything, the written, the podcast, and the tarot reading, giving you all a lot more control over what comes into your inbox. But it felt wrong to take the tarot reading out. So go figure that during a Mercury retrograde, I would change my mind about something so mercurial. So I'm going to keep it at the end of the forecast for now. Do let me know if you would like it to be its own thing and you are excited about that possible change. I am also working on the referral program this week, and I am really excited to announce that coming up soon. So please keep an eye out for that announcement going forward. And remember, if you ever have any questions or suggestions, or you are interested in booking an astrology or tarot reading with me, send me an email to astromommyastrology@gmail.com. I love hearing from you. So here we are, Wednesday, the day that Mercury will meet up with the sun and have his Cazimi moment. And then the moon will form her third quarter square to the sun and shine brightly tonight as a half moon. Tomorrow, Thursday, the moon will square Neptune in Pisces. Today is an auspicious day. How will you use this gift? Big downloads could come in today, as fast as a baseball player sliding home, and it may feel like we spent the whole first part of the week watching the scene unfold in slow motion. The player stretching out his foot, extending his leg, elongating his whole body to make contact with the white flat plate before the white round sphere landed in the catcher's glove. But now we're in it, and the scene is running at full speed. If only life was like that, a baseball game with the ability to watch the play-by-play in slow motion. That's one of the many benefits of astrology, the ability to look ahead and see the ball coming or the player sliding towards us, and for a split second, we have a choice of how to respond. Astrology gives us that split second if we choose to pay attention. It is my belief that the split second is the only time we truly have free will, but that's another discussion for another day. Feel free to argue with me in the comments. Okay, let's get into the astrology. All times are in Eastern Time unless mentioned otherwise. On Wednesday, the moon will be in Gemini all day, and her first order of business is a trine to Mars in Libra at 3:44 a.m. The moon and Mars in a trine, both in air signs, means our thoughts will be moving rapidly and easily. We may have many animated and lively conversations. Couple this with the Mercury conjoining the Sun, which will happen a few hours later at 7:09 a.m., and we could feel mentally on fire, in a good way. So the Moon trines Mars and then Mercury conjoins the Sun. These are really good omens for clear thinking, fast thinking, rapid-fire exchanges, dynamic energy that brings people together, socializing, congregating around a unifying topic, taking action towards something in the form of words and speaking. So I am seeing a lot of conversations and a lot of mental activity and clear, rational thinking. When Mercury meets up with the Sun and has his Cazimi moment, he is said to be in the lap of the king. And because he is in his own domicile and exaltation, Virgo, he is really powerful here. We could have really important and significant realizations, conversations, and messages come in. We could feel seen, heard, and validated. Our mental acumen could get a boost, especially with this happening just 2 days after Mercury had a trine to Jupiter on Monday. So whatever communications came in with that could be further heightened. This is a great time for writing, publishing, public speaking, and showcasing your many skills, talents, and smarts. The exact Cazimi moment is very brief, though, as it is from 17 minutes of arc before the conjunction to 17 minutes of arc after the conjunction. Using the program Solar Fire, I was able to animate the chart and see when the Cazimi moment starts and ends, from approximately 3:26 a.m. until 10:40 a.m. Eastern Time, just over 7 hours. What will you use this auspicious time for? I would love to know in the comments. By the afternoon on Wednesday, the moon makes a sesquiquadrate to the south node and a semi-square to the north node at 12:08 p.m., meaning that there is a start and stop feeling to the afternoon. Like we get started on something but get interrupted briefly, or we find out that we have to do something else before we can do what we set out to do. Either way, it's an opportunity for patience. Then at 3:06 p.m., the moon in Gemini perfects a sextile to Venus in Leo, and things could start to flow more easily. The conversations just happen more naturally, and harmony and balance within the home and with family and loved ones is easier to achieve. Our minds may be racing today, but this sextile to Venus means that it could feel good rather than frazzling. The late afternoon is when things could get a bit more stressed, because the moon first forms a sesquiquadrate to Pluto in Capricorn retrograde at 4:37 p.m., and then at 4:45 p.m. she makes a square to Mercury in Virgo retrograde, who by that time is no longer in the sun's lap. The Cazimi moment has passed, and Mercury is now combust, but thankfully he is in his own chariot, so that lessens the effect of being burned up by the sun's rays during combustion. The moon in Gemini in a sesquiquadrate to Pluto in Capricorn retrograde indicates a delay in the long-term plans, especially ones that are about our survival, and this could feel annoying and uncomfortable. The moon in Gemini in a square to Mercury in Virgo retrograde symbolizes difficult communications, difficulty speaking, frazzled thinking, and just too much thinking or talking. Completely opposite from what the Cazimi may have felt like earlier. So this feels like a spell was cast upon us that makes us the best speakers in the world, and as soon as the spell wears off, we start to stutter and stumble over our words. That is frustrating. Use the Cazimi moment wisely and then take the afternoon off. That's what I would do. Misunderstandings and feelings like you put your foot in your mouth are common with the moon square Mercury, as well as frustrating elements of travel or technology glitching a bunch, especially since Mercury is retrograde. I have been experiencing all these little tech glitches that are, by themselves, not that bad, but by the end of the day, they all add up to just a lot of little moments of frustration and feel bigger than they really are. At 6:21 p.m., the moon forms a square to the sun, the third quarter phase, the half moon, the last quarter. On the east coast, the moon will rise at 11:50 p.m. and be a bright half moon in the sky until she sets at 3:19 p.m. the next day. The third quarter phase is about taking what you've been doing and making something new that will last a long time. So it's a phase of action and indicates events taking place. These events will involve people and projects that have already been in motion. Right after this, at 6:33 p.m., Mercury in Virgo retrograde will perfect his sesquiquadrate to Pluto in Capricorn retrograde. So the feelings we had earlier that were annoying and uncomfortable could become more pronounced, and we may need to talk about it in order to try to solve the puzzle in some verbal way. Just remember to not be too critical of yourself and others as you try to work it all out. On Thursday, the moon is still in Gemini all day. Her first order of business on Thursday is a sextile to Chiron in Aries retrograde at 3:56 a.m. This is an opportunity for healing and sharing of feelings. Then the moon doesn't make any more aspects, and neither do any other planets until the afternoon, starting at 4:45 p.m., when she makes positive aspects to the nodes and then begins her evening of wishy-washiness. The moon in Gemini first perfects a square to Neptune in Pisces at 6:21 p.m., then a semi-square to Venus at 8:08 p.m., and finally a quincunx to Pluto at 9:22 p.m. The moon and Neptune in a square symbolize feeling mentally lost, fatigued, or disillusioned in some way. First, the moon is peregrine in Gemini, meaning that she's traveling through a space in the zodiac where she is alone and on her own. It's as if she was on vacation when she was in Taurus at the beginning of the week, and things were good. She felt comfortable and happy in Taurus and was taken care of like an esteemed guest. And now she has to travel through this dry, windy desert to get back to her lush and green home in Cancer. So there's a lot of thinking and strategizing, being street smart, and using her wits, skills, and trades to her advantage when she is in Gemini. She has to be this way in order to make it back home. So this square to Neptune in Pisces is like the moon is walking on the sand, winds are blowing, and then suddenly a thick nebulous fog sets in, and she can't see but 2 feet in front of her. The only thing the moon can do is connect to her intuition to keep guiding her in the right direction. She has to be extremely aware of her surroundings and what the earth feels like under her feet, because if she fails to pay attention, she could slip or fall into some quicksand or run right into an oasis she didn't know was there and get stuck in the blissful serenity of the cool water and shade-providing trees. Every month when the moon forms her squares to Neptune, we are invited to tap into our own intuitive navigational systems and rely on them to guide us forward. The zodiac sign that the moon and Neptune are in will determine the types of landscapes we will be navigating and what we can use as our tools. Listen to your intuition, calm your mind, and tune into your spirit guides, following the melody of their voices to get through the mental fog. Venus in a semi-square with the moon is trying to help, but it could represent feelings of obsession or fixation on a certain way to get through the fog that just lead to frustration. And the moon in quincunx to Pluto represents that we may need to approach this evening with whatever business acumen we have. Use your skills, use your natural abilities and talents, and let go of fear and doubt. You got this. Let's move on to the card for the day. What is the guidance for today? New moon in Aries. It's time to take action. On this card, we see a dark moon with a silver lining creeping in from the bottom, the new moon being born. Underneath the moon is the head of the ram, the symbol for Aries, illuminated by a glowing light and red celestial clouds surrounded by stars. The new moon is about new beginnings, and Aries is about taking action and being a pioneer. As a card for the day, I feel this is about taking bold action towards what you want without hesitation. I think this is interesting for Mercury's Cazimi day and is further confirmation to use that energy in a way that advances you forward. Tally-ho! Let me know if this reading resonates with you in the comments. I hope this is helpful. Until Friday, AstroMommy. Thank you for reading or listening to the Daily Horoscope. Quick links and resources can be found at the bottom of the newsletter. Today's card was pulled from the Moonology Oracle Cards by Yasmin Boglund, available on Amazon. If you seek knowledge and enlightenment, the AstroMommy Newsletter may be right for you. Side effects of reading or listening to the AstroMommy Newsletter are common and include joy, jubilation, delight, happiness, gratitude, love, triumph, feeling in tune with the universe, experiencing deep insights, reflections, and contemplations, a lightened soul, a lighter step, feeling awake when others are asleep, illuminated, enlightened, having spiritual experiences, noticing repeating numbers, animals in nature, or songs on the radio that speak to you, getting vibes, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsmelliance, feeling like you know secret language, biophilia, crying tears of joy, emotional literacy, feeling lively, stable, exalted, having an auric glow, or feeling like you woke up on the right side of the bed have all been reported. If you purchase anything through the affiliate links that I provide in the newsletters, I will make a very small commission. Thanks for listening.